Hey folks, I'm Richard Evans, the Paradise Tour Guy, and I'm going to Las Vegas. And I might actually make money on this trip. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. This is going to be part of a series of stories I'm going to do to talk about my main theme: how to use good ideas, good strategies, good techniques that you can travel now cheaper and a lot more fun. And this is primarily directed to people my age, 55 and above, whether it happens to be planning as a couple or myself. I'm generally a solo traveler as far as having a really good time on not a lot of money. And this is going to be a perfect example: going to Las Vegas. Now, here's the thing. This is not going to be any gambling, not any crazy spending stuff. I am going to have fun. I will tell you, most of this is going to be paid by Hilton, not because they're sponsoring it, but because I'm taking advantage of a lot of really good promotions and bonuses that they have. And yes, this does involve sitting in on a timeshare presentation, but don't judge. Just bear with me and let me explain my strategy on this particular trip, that I can go on a 4-day, 3-night stay for basically nothing. Now, here's the thing. I love Las Vegas, and my wife, Lisa, and I, we were coming here for decades. All the way from the time that we started in Arizona, we were teaching, we started coming to Las Vegas. And then after we had spent time in Ecuador, this is the place that we then came to. For a while, I worked as a teacher and then as a tour guide here. And so I know the city. I know where to find the deals. I know where to avoid the traps. And as I said, I'm going to show you how I go ahead and put together a trip for really, really cheap and still have a really good time. Now, this strategy is one that uses several different things that I use. I'm not going to go into detail in each one. I will do videos later on about some of the more details about some of them. Right now, this is just the big, broad, overall planning for the strategy. And later on videos, I'll talk about some of the more specific ways of how I got some of the deals that I got, what actually happened when I go to Las Vegas, including all of my spending. So at the end of this series, we'll find out exactly what I did and how badly I did or how good I did. Now, and frankly, it's here towards the end of April in Alaska, where my base is now out of Anchorage. It's still snowing in the Turnagain Pass. Temperatures are in the 30s, once in a while touching up into the 40s. And a trip to Las Vegas where it's in the 70s and 80s, 40 degrees warmer than Alaska, sounded excellent as spring hits and before the summer season goes. So that's really why I wanted to take advantage of it. Now, the core strategy for this is it's built on 3 different things: freebies, bonuses, and promotions. And when you stack them, in other words, you're using them together with each other, travel gets very cheap real quick. Now, here's the controversial part. Sometimes people, they just don't want to listen to it or they're uncomfortable talking about it, but this is my honest take on it. Now, through Hilton Honors, the Hilton Hotel Group, I'm a member of their rewards group, free to sign up for. And so when you stay at Hilton, you get points for when you stay. You also get lots of promotions and different things like that. This is for those of you who are not familiar with the rewards sorts of cards, whether it happens to be an airline card or a hotel card or even cards like American Express or Chase or something like that. You can get points for just the normal spending that you have. And that's a core part of my strategy. I'll talk about that a bit later. Now, also with the Hilton Honors, they send you promotions, and I got a promotion from Hilton Grand Vacations. Now, Hilton Grand Vacations, HGV, is the timeshare/vacation club part of Hilton, and they send out promotions regularly out to different Hotel Honors members to try to convince you to come and have experience for a timeshare presentation. They're hoping to sell you a timeshare. And a lot of people say, no, I don't want to do that. It's too high pressure. You know, I don't want to take part of my vacation doing something like that. But again, bear with me, and it's not for everybody, but it's an easy way to pick up really good deals. And in this particular one, they were offering a 4-day, 3-night stay in one of a number of different places, Las Vegas, Orlando, Hawaii, and receive 100,000 Hilton Honors points. And I chose Las Vegas. It was priced at $199. The cash price for these were different. Like doing this in Hawaii was like $899, which, nah, I'm not going to do that. But $199 to Las Vegas, a town that I love, sounds great to me. Now, of course, the catch is I have to attend roughly a 2-hour presentation on the opportunities of timeshare ownership. Again, about 2 hours to possibly get 100,000 points. Now, the cash value of 100,000 Hilton Honors points conservatively is about $500. The way I use their points, it tends to be more, sometimes as much as double that amount. So I'm looking at something in which for 2 hours of my time, I can receive roughly anywhere from $500 to $700 to maybe even $1,000 worth of travel benefits that I can use as far as my travel. I'll do that every single day. So here's the fun thing on those timeshares is you're not required to buy. You're required to check in. You're required to sit through the presentation and take the tour, listen to the numbers that they do, and then you say no, and you walk out and you take your points. Done it many times. In fact, here's the thing. One of the reasons that my wife and I started to come to Arizona or to Las Vegas back in the day was because we found out it's a great way to get really, really cheap vacations away. To come on up, and to tell you the truth, we got into the habit of we'd be doing timeshare presentations almost every day that we were there. During the morning, we'd take a timeshare presentation. We would collect all these certificates for dining and really nice restaurants and shows, and oftentimes we could get additional stays later on. And so most of the time we would go up there, our room would be paid, our food was taken care of by the timeshares, and all sorts of great, fantastic entertainments. One of the reasons that we really came to love Las Vegas, because really we'd go up there and literally our only expense would be the gas in our car to drive up to Las Vegas and come on down. And to tell you the truth, you can still do that. If you want to spend a whole lot more time doing it now, I'm no longer in the thing of just taking a 2-hour presentation, which in some ways can extend to a 4 or 5 or 6 hour presentation. But as I go ahead and go forward, I'll tell you you don't have to do that 4 or 5 nightmare sorts of presentations. And I'll show you exactly how I do it, and I'll get out of there. 2-hour presentation, I'll probably get done in an hour or an hour and a half and still get my 100,000 points. Anyway, to continue on, let's go on to some of the other things that I'm going to be bringing into my plan as, first of all, my flight strategy. So I'm doing a round trip from Anchorage, Alaska to Las Vegas and back, booking them with Alaska Airlines. Now, one of the things that I do is I'm going to take advantage of, I have a $250 travel credit for one of my credit card programs. And so that's going to cut roughly 60% off of my flight schedule. Basically, it's going to be just a touch over $200 cash. And that's going to cut that price way down. I also have the $199 plus tax, so it's like $215 or something for the actual stay at Las Vegas at the Hilton Grand Vacations. That's also going to be taken care of by some of my points. And so out-of-pocket cost for this to get here and all that's going to be pretty minimal. I'm going to pay at the most about $400 out of pocket, and almost all of that I'm going to get back. Now, I've also booked some activities. I love baseball, can't get enough of it, but here in Anchorage, there's not a lot of live baseball games that I can really get to. And one of the things I love to do when I was in Las Vegas is goes to the local AAA team of the Athletics, which is the Las Vegas Aviators. So I've booked a ticket to go watch one of their games while I'm there. And I'm also going to go to a show which I like a lot. It's not really expensive, but it's been one of my favorites for decades, and that's the V Show, which the V kind of has a double entendre there. Part of it is like Vegas, and part of it is variety, because it's kind of an old-style variety show, and the show is literally different every single time depending on what performers are available that night. And I've always enjoyed it. It's a nice, fun little show. It doesn't really cost a whole much. I found some tickets for about $28 through Expedia, and also getting some credits again from some of my points programs. So I got those two main things and I'm also going to hit some of my really inexpensive and free types of experiences while I'm in Las Vegas too, because I just love to do them. So this is going to be not just sitting around in a hotel, not just sitting on a coffee shop. I'm going to be actually going out and enjoying Las Vegas and what it has, and also enjoying the weather, because it's not snowing like it is in Anchorage. So that's pretty much the idea there. Now, talking about using those credit cards, I've suggested I'm going to use it. Right now I'm doing what's called a targeted system. I have a couple different ways I do it. And so it's a targeted system because right now I have a fairly new card. It's the Chase Sapphire Preferred card. And I'm going to be using that for almost all my spending right now. And the reason is, again, it's a new card. And when I got it, it offered a welcome bonus of 75,000 points for Chase. Those roughly have about a value, conservatively, of about $750. Again, the way I use points, it's probably going to be more valuable than that, probably anywhere from $1,500 to $1,200 as far as points. And to do that, I have to spend $5,000 within 3 months on that card. People go, "Oh, Richard, you're spending $5,000 on a card? That's not cheap." Yeah, but, and one of the big things that I do in my system is I want to have my everyday spending give me rewards that I can use for travel. And so right now, pretty much all of my spending is going on the card. Buy groceries, I'm using this card and getting points. Gas, use the card, get more points. Bills, oil changes, purchasing the tickets for the airline on this card. The fee I had to pay to actually come out here, that $199 plus tax for the overall deal on the card. And I'm getting points for every one of those. Sometimes it's 1 point per dollar when you're talking about travel and entertainment and dining. It can be 3 points per dollar or whatever, but it all builds up. So by the time I finish spending $5,000, I'll probably have somewhere in the vicinity of about 12,000 points built up just from my everyday spending. I mean, I'm not doing anything else. And that's what brings it. And by the way, just as an aside, when I start talking about the cards, I'll probably have another video in which I'll got more information about how I use cards. But the main thing is you don't do what I do in the cards if you are making payments. In other words, if you have a balance on your card and you're making a minimal or a partial payment every month, what I'm doing right now would not work for you because those interest charges, which can be 19%, 24%, 29%, I've seen 35% on some cards, they would just eat you alive, and any benefit that you would receive from using the cards would just be eaten up by those crazy interest rates. You want to be in a place, which I am now in my life, in which your cards are paid off, and whatever you charge on that card, you pay it as soon as it comes up on the statement. If you do that, you pay no interest, and it's basically like a free loan that you can just use to, not have to pay interest. You usually get another 20 days or so from the time that you spend it to the time you have to pay it, and you're getting all of these travel points that you can double dip and get them going. And I'll have some other videos a little bit longer along the way that you can kind of figure out exactly how those sorts of things works. It's possible. You just have to get yourself a little bit smarter and get more value out of your everyday spending. So that's basically how it works, is that my everyday spending is giving me points, and then in this particular case, because I've got a welcome bonus, I'm working for 75,000 points. It makes a huge difference as you start planning these programs as I am today. So the big idea of this particular trip is I'm working at getting conservatively 100,000 Hilton Honors points by the time I do the timeshare presentation, at least $500, probably more. I'm working to get the Chase bonus worth at least $750 and probably more. Now, I won't charge all of the $750 here, but I'll definitely get a bunch of that from there. And my flights and hotel mostly covered with credits and promotions. So if I control my spending in Las Vegas, I'm going to spend, I'm going to go to a couple restaurants, but as long as I'm doing it wisely and under control, I could earn more in my travel values and bonuses than my total spend on this trip. Meaning this trip could technically earn me money because I'm traveling the right way and using bonuses and promotions and credit, travel points, and things like that to the maximum. And so this is in a very short trip, the type of thing that you can use to do slow travel, like I'll be doing a little bit later this year when I travel to Mexico, and next year, also when I go to Europe, next year when I'm planning on going to Southeast Asia, Vietnam and Cambodia and Malaysia. It means that you can live well on an insanely small amount of money that you can't do here in the United States. And no gambling involved, and I'm not relying on luck. This is a system, and this is a strategy. I'm playing the travel game. So again, this is the broad planning phase. Next, I'm going to be doing another video in which I get more detailed on how I planned this, exactly how did I get the deal that I have on my airline tickets, how did I book my activities in the baseball game, other things that I'm planning as far as the different things I'm going to do to have a really nice time, but also have a good deal. And I'm also going to break down every penny I make, every penny that I spend, and at the end of it, we'll see how I did. And the final number might surprise you. In fact, the final number might surprise me too. You never know. So if you want to learn about how I travel more and spend a lot less, please subscribe, hit the like button. It helps the channel, also gives you a warning when the next video on this series go, which the next one will be specifically how I'm planning this ultimate cheap Las Vegas trip. And if you have any questions or comments, please share them below. I'll be happy to respond to them. And see you next time, because this is only the beginning.